On today's episode, World's Toughest Mudder Eve, we talk about the 2.5 mile pit party with Coach.
This is the World's Toughest Podcast. Welcome to the World's Toughest Podcast, where we talk about any obstacle course race you'd like, as long as that's World's Toughest Mudder. Each week we talk to members of the WTM community and share stories of success and failure in the single greatest event in OCR. My name is Will Hicks, and this is the World's Toughest Podcast.
Welcome back to World's Toughest Podcast. This is your last episode before World's Toughest Mudder, and you are going to crush it tomorrow. I can't wait to hear how you do. Let me just tell you a few quick things, and then we're going to talk to Coach. Coach is one of the, along with, I think, Sean Corvell, one of the two most inspiring guys in the Tough Mudder community. Legitimately, every time I talk with them, Sean or with Coach, Clinton also, I mean, there's a lot of guys, but anyway, I really enjoyed this conversation with Coach. I am looking forward to hearing about the 2.5 mile pit party, how that goes. This is the first year they've had he's going to have a DJ booth, like a legitimate DJ booth out halfway through the course. So hopefully it will motivate and inspire as you go through. I mentioned it yesterday. I want to remind you, if you want a World's Toughest Podcast sticker, you're at World's Toughest Mudder right now. Find Mark James. What does he look like? I don't know. That's your job. I know what he looks like. You need to find him. Let him know you left a review for the podcast on Apple Podcast or Amazon.com, and he will give you a sticker while supplies last. Also, don't forget to text TOUGH to the number 22828. That's TOUGH. Text TOUGH to the number 22828. You'll get on our email list, and you will get our sweet Black Friday deals when they're available. A lot of companies have said, don't release this until Thanksgiving Day, and look for text TOUGH to 22828, and check your emails on Thanksgiving Day to buy your Christmas present for yourself. If you are not in Atlanta and you want to follow the race this weekend, be sure to follow the OCR Report and World's Toughest Podcast on Instagram. Carlo Piscatello and Kim DeVos are out there all weekend. Carlo will be covering the race, and the actual race on the OCR Report Instagram, and Kim is covering a lot of the community events before and after on World's Toughest Podcast. Carlo will be there also for those, but Kim is running the race, so she won't be doing coverage during the race. Unless maybe, I don't know, maybe in at a pit, she'll jump in. I don't know. But follow those two to find out what's going on all weekend, follow the race, and stay informed. They've already been posting stuff from the events. The hot lap is going on right now as we talk. This is a great thing they did for the first time this year. So the pit crew and just regular people that they want to know what World's Toughest is about. Maybe they run a regular Tough Mudder and in the area, but they don't want to commit for 24 hours, so they can do one lap of the course. And during the hot lap, people found out that the penalty for Everest, which has been a big thing all year, right? People complain that Everest was must complete at Toughest Mudder. So Team HQ said, okay, fine. We'll give you a penalty, an optional penalty, right? You complete the obstacle, you don't have to do the penalty. But at World's Toughest Mudder, the penalty is going to be terrible, and it's going to be embarrassing. The penalty for Everest at World's Toughest Mudder this year is you have to do one lap of the mini Mudder course. So that's pretty great. That's pretty great. So I can't wait to see footage of that. I'm going to be out of commission starting on Monday next week. So for recap podcasts of World's Toughest Mudder, check out Overcome and Run. Check out Obstacle Running Adventures. You can find them on the OCRreport.com. We are working on more exciting stuff for next year. I have 4 or 5 writers that have reached out to me. Very excited to talk with each of them further. If you were one of those guys, look for an email from me in the next week or so. And then I'm also looking for one of those guys, but if you are running World's Toughest Mudder this weekend and you have some writing skill, like this isn't your first rodeo doing writing, I would love to we don't really do race recaps a lot, right? But I would love to read your story about how the race went for you. Especially if you're one of the elites. I'll contact you guys privately, but If you're a writer and you're running World's Toughest Mudder this weekend, you want to write it up for the OCR report, shoot me an email, willhicks@gmail.com. I'd love to talk to you about that. All right. So Coach and I were talking, and sometimes when I do interviews, we will kind of do a little pregame where we talk before the podcast, and then we kind of say, okay, hey, you ready to start? Let's start. Coach, welcome to the show. Da, 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 da. Coach and I just kind of started talking, and we were going to do we were like, hey, this is pregame. We'll start in a minute. But we just kind of started talking and kept talking. So we're going to actually jump in mid-conversation with Coach and I talking about the importance of consistency. And then we talk about a ton of other things, including the very exciting 24-hour pit party he will be running at World's Toughest Mudder. It's time to talk with Coach Mud. Let's go to the phones.
The most important thing to anything is consistency, whether it's fitness, nutrition, whatever. It's just being consistent. And I've been consistently in the drywall game since I was 20 years old. And now I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then I can branch out and do other way cooler things, like becoming a trainer. Was an amazing thing for my own life, just being more of a healthier individual. And, I had my own issues with partying and drugs and alcohol, and fitness helped me get out of that. And then becoming a trainer, I was able to just watch people, grow toward their own goals. And I just fell in love with being a trainer. I love it. It's so that was my initial passion project. I'm not a trainer because I really don't make very much money at all, but I love it. And it's just this place to go, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something kind of good. And then because of that trainer position, that's how I ended up at Tough Mudder. So
that's what year did you start with Tough Mudder?
I'm pretty sure that I started with Tough Mudder in 2012. I'm pretty sure that in 2012 at Tahoe, they reached out to our gym and they asked for somebody to just do warm-ups. And it was before there was a warm-up area or anything. And it was basically all it was in the base area or in the village, there was a little corral, and I had a speaker, and I would just call people over to my warm-up area. Come on over and join me for a warm-up. But what I did is my buddy dressed up like this old coach for Halloween. And we were talking and just joking around. I'm like, dude, I'm going to kind of borrow that outfit. So I did, and I had a beard at the time, and I shaved my beard into this mustache, and I threw on some aviators, and I showed up. And growing up throughout high school and through my sports career, I'd call all my coaches coach. Yeah, coach, I got that. Or, I wrestled a little in high school. Yeah, coach, got you. So I don't know, just throughout the day, I just started calling myself coach. I'm my name is Coach. And then a year later, so that was just one event, and Tough Mudder, I didn't even hear back from him for a year, and I thought it was kind of a one-off thing. And, I thought I did a great job, and I didn't think too much of it. And then they came back to Tahoe in 2013 and hit me up again. And they're like, hey, do you want to do that thing again? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And then we got done with it. And that time, it was more of a warm-up zone. They actually put me in the line of traffic, and I was like, they had a warm-up area. And then after that event, they're like, hey, do you want to go to Colorado in a couple weeks? And I was like, sure, this sounds fun. And that's when I started training for them. And then at the end of that year, they started asking me about, how do you get ready or how do you train for a Tough Mudder? And I was like, there's so many ways. And I was like, you just got to find what makes you happy. And, step outside your comfort zone. Don't take yourself super seriously and experience life. And whether you're doing Zumba or hip hop hustle or Pilates or yoga or CrossFit or whatever, all those things will help you get to a Tough Mudder. And that's so I had that video series Coachified for, I believe, 3 seasons. And that's basically what the premise of that was me being dude, there's not just one way to train for a Tough Mudder. Yes, if you want to beat, win World's Toughest Mudder, then there's a specific way that you should train. But if you want to experience what I believe is magic about a Tough Mudder, is that fun, that teamwork, that camaraderie, and just go out there in pretty good shape and experience it, then there's a million ways to go about it. And that's kind of what I was trying to show people. It's like, hey, I don't care if you're a CrossFitter or what you do, just go do things. Get out there and find what it is that lights your fire every morning and go do that. And I'm lucky enough to have found something that I've fallen in love with training. And I can't, I look forward to my morning workouts. And I think that everybody can find that. They just have to hunt around a little bit.
It wasn't your first. Oh, it was great. It wasn't your first one. I remember seeing you. It was definitely early in it, though, because I saw you in SoCal. And it was before they had like the official like Cellucor warm-up zones or whatever they called them. And
so that was was that 2013? I meant
it could have been, yeah, because it was the same deal. Like I think you had like a little platform, maybe it was super small, and you were just kind of like waving people over, like, "Hey, don't go to the start. Like on your way to the start line, come over here and let's get warmed up." And
right, yeah, it was real half-assed early on, and it was a lot of work. It was like freaking hard before like anyone knew who Coach was. Like I had to put in work. Like I was just this weird guy in lady small shorts, like. And I was so uncomfortable and so scared, like, but I was just being me and I put in as much effort and work into it as I could. And it just slowly like kind of gained traction. And what I've learned out of this whole experience is if you got a weird idea, give it 110%. And then you never know, like, if that idea works, then you know that, yeah, that's awesome. If you gave it half-ass effort and it didn't work, it leaves you with no conclusion. Like, well, maybe if I tried harder, it might have worked. Like, I went into this coach thing and I just gave it my all. And I was uncomfortable and scared. Like, when I stripped out of sweatpants into those ridiculous shorts the first time, like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, well, I had this idea and it seemed like a good idea last night. Right now, I'm scared.
And you're walking from your car to the place, and people are looking at you, and you're like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah, what am I doing? Like and I was like, you know what? Just like do it. And it's been probably a pretty cool. It's been a great like learning experience for me of just like owning who I am and being me. And I love that. Like, I think what Coach is. Yeah, it's an alter ego of who Kyle is. But ultimately, it's like who Kyle would love to be. Like, I think we all have this like inner coach or this inner freak or this inner person that just wants to beat from at their own drum. But in life, it's like, it's hard to do that. I just was at a drywall meeting 2 seconds ago. And if I put my hands in there and start doing hip circles, it would get taken very differently. So like, one thing I love about a Tough Mudder, it's like this place where you can go and like, for me, like and for anybody, like go push yourself. Get outside your comfort zone, get a little uncomfortable, maybe get a little bloody or bruised, have a beer afterwards, let your freak flag fly. We take all kinds. It's like it's like zero ego, fun place to be. And like, it's like the one place on this planet that I found that I could just do whatever I want. And I think anyone can do that. And I think that that's kind of the beauty of Tough Mudder. And at least for me, that's what I found the beauty is. Like, I love going out. I love working my hardest for me and running the course the best way I can, whether it's like spending, hours on an obstacle helping 100 mudders or getting through the course as fast as I can at a tougher mudder or striving for 75 miles at Worlds, like whatever. These are all these like cool personal goals in this place that's comfortable where I can be me and, I look forward to like all the magical people I've met along the way that are just out being them. Just think about the different characters that are cruising around at a Tough Mudder. Like them all. Like Francis being Francis, and it's just like JVT being JVT with his big old smile and a big old American Eagle on his t-shirt. Like just being him. Like it's such a cool place. Like everyone's accepted here. We're good. Me running around in little shorts. Who cares? We're having fun.
I'm imagining you at a meeting with everyone in ties and jackets, and you stand up and like, before we start this meeting, we need to all do some hip circles. And
yeah. The funny thing is because of I don't really talk about my side life in my regular life. Like, I don't show up at a job site and be like, oh, dude, this last weekend was so sick of it at Sonoma, which it was. Trust me. I had the best time on the planet. But I keep the two worlds separately because I also, not everybody understands in the world my other world. They don't all understand. I don't know if they would get it. So I just leave it alone. But a lot of them have found me on social media. And so it's this weird thing where everyone knows what I did over the weekend. No one really discusses it, and we carry on with business. And I think it's kind of funny situation where I'm like, yeah, that was me. They'll show up a picture of that over the weekend. I'm like, that was me. But that's not what we're discussing right now. We're discussing your drywall.
Do they ever show up? Does anyone from your work life, like your real life, ever show up at a Tough Mudder just to see you in action?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. All the time. The local events, for sure. And some of them show up for Tough Mudders and don't even realize I didn't know that that's what I do, because I don't really discuss it. I don't talk about it. I don't know why. It's just hey, I don't need to talk about myself all the time, and it doesn't necessarily come up. And but if people show up at Tough Mudder to run it, and when I'm doing the warm up zone, or now as the DJ, they're like, "Oh my God, Kyle, what are you doing?" I'm doing the thing, baby.
What's it like to have people dress up as you? Like you see people that, obviously you mean a lot to them, or the character coach means a lot to them.
It's freaking awesome. It's extremely weird, but I don't know. It's I'm flattered, and I'm proud. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. It's kind of surreal. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I love it. And it's a smile. And I think one thing that I do enjoy about it is I think the coach sells fun. I'm just selling, be you. Don't take yourself super seriously. Have a great time. Live your life to the fullest. Climb up on mountains. Smile. Play. Yeah, work hard. It's important, but do that with a smile on your face. And I try not to have a lot of call to actions. I try not to preach much, because everyone is an individual and we're all different. And what our version of fun or what our versions of that is different. And I want everyone to find their own thing that makes them beat. But that's what coach sells. I think it's a positive thing and a positive message. So for people to grab onto that or latch onto that, it makes me smile. I'm happy. I'm like, they get it. They get what I'm up to. We're just having fun. We're all stressed, and we work our butts off on a 9 to 5. There's no getting around that. That's the way the world is. And there's deadlines, there's bills, there's all this stuff. There's half of California, the power's out. It's not great in all scenarios. But one thing we can control is the smile on our faces. And I want more of that. Let's have fun. We need to. We're here. Let's have a blast. Get the most we can. And at nobody else's expense. Have a blast just because life is fun. We're not having fun taking something from anybody else or anything. We're just out not taking ourselves super seriously, which I think is important. Just pushing ourselves to our own limits, whatever that might be. If you get 25 miles of World's Toughest Mudder, I think it's freaking rad. If you just got your 10th headband at Sonoma, that's amazing. Set up these goals for yourself that are manageable. Celebrate those victories and celebrate those goals. Celebrate life. That's what I want people to do. And I struggle. It's the own mission that I'm trying to tell myself every single day. Life is stressful for me too. But I want to have fun. That's where I was watching at Sonoma last weekend. But for my new job, obviously, and one reason we're talking is DJing, right? DJing the event. And at the end of last year, Tough Mudder came to me and they're like, hey, it was just a general discussion. They didn't come to me specifically. They're talking about, hey, we need to get back to our roots. We need to do something. And Kyle the other Kyle, saying like a festival atmosphere. Well, like I DJ'd through I started DJing when I was 19 years old. I moved to Detroit and I lived in a basement and I learned to play records and I played techno music. And then from Detroit, me and a buddy moved to London and we called ourselves the Bandaloop Businessmen. And we traveled around London, and then someone sent us to Belgium to play this party called Evil, and it was amazing. And then from there, I came home for a little bit, and then we moved to New Zealand. We wanted to be in New Zealand for the first place to see the sun for the millennium. We ended up with an incredible gig there, played for a bunch of kids. And then I became a resident DJ at 3 nightclubs in New Zealand, and I was living there for a while. And then apparently when you overstay your visa and you live next to a Scientologist, you could get ratted out, and I got deported to New Zealand. And I ended up back home in early 2000s in Tahoe. And there's not a huge music scene, but I would still DJ out from time to time. But Tahoe's a small town. But this DJing thing has always been a dream and this love I've had. And when Kyle said we want Tough Mudder to be like a festival, I slowly raised my hand and said, I think I can do that. In fact, I think I'm meant to do that. And so this new thing is this full circle. And now I'm DJing, which is my dream job. And I get to set the mood of the base area and watch the people's heads bob up and down and throw some, there's some impromptu dance parties that happen at the Tough Mudders now that just makes me so happy. And it's awesome. But one thing I get to do, which is where I started with this, is I get to watch the people. And I was sitting there watching people last time, and I was like, this is the coolest melting pot on the planet. There's so many diverse people here from different cultures, from different athletic types, body types. And I was just getting so happy. I'm like, dude, Tough Mudder. We take all kinds. Please come join us. It doesn't matter who you are. Find your freak flag, go push yourself, and then come back and join me in the village, and let's just dance and goof off. And I don't know, being able to actually watch it all day long is amazing. It's my new job is the best.
I think a lot of people get intimidated by, Tough Mudder and, the mud, and then 10 miles might as well be 100 miles. But I think if they got there and just saw the festival atmosphere and saw the people who look just like them, not everyone out there is rolling with 8-packs and, running 6-minute miles.
No.
It literally is all just a cross section of humanity.
It's beautiful. And dude, so this last weekend there, and I apologize if I say this incorrectly, but there was an older Indian couple, and they're probably in their 60s, and both had full Indian garb on, and they came and took a selfie with me, and I was just I was so happy because I'm somehow whatever it is that I'm doing has reached out to them, they get it, so they want to come and take a photograph of this guy selling fun. And that's all I'm trying to sell. And I'm not trying to, it's a undermined sales pitch of fun. I'm dancing around on the stage. I'm listening to I play my favorite music of the day, and I just dance to it all day long. And I, think you should join me because dancing is good for your soul. And if you just got done running a Tough Mudder, celebrate that. Grab yourself a beer and let's goof off and have some fun. And that's what's so cool now. It's a full day event. You push yourself for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, spend 3 more hours there. There's nothing else on the planet that's doing that. And I'm proud to be part of it.
So after I run Tough Mudder, a regular Tough Mudder on a Saturday, I'm not much of a dancer on a good day. And after putting 10, 12 miles under my legs, I just like to lay down. I like to listen, but man, I'm more absorbing it. I'm not really giving.
And that's, and again, it takes all kinds. And what I do is watch. I'm I don't try to force a dance party. If you're in the mood, you're in the mood. But that's the way I have a pulse, and I guess it's a DJ thing, but I'm just watching everybody's head. And if I watch everyone walking around the base area and their heads are bobbing up and down and they have a smile on their face, then I'm doing a pretty good job. And if nobody's moving or anything, then I'm going to start reaching around in my record box to try to find different stuff to figure out how to get people's heads to move. So it doesn't, like lay down, enjoy the sun. And that's why I try to pick like kind of music for that, like, you know, it's high energy, but also that like festival feeling, that hanging out, you know, hopefully, you know, we've been lucky enough to have some pretty darn good weather at a lot of events this year. Hopefully you're hanging out, getting in the sun, you know, laying down somewhere or playing one of the fun games in the village. Like, I don't know, it's too cool.
Hey, let's talk about your DJ party at World's Toughest this year.
Yeah.
So at the 2.5 mile mark, I talked with Kyle McLaughlin, CEO of Tough Mudder, earlier, and he said you're going to have basically all he told me. This is what I know so far. It's at the 2.5 mile mark, and you will be running the show for 24 hours. So what's the plan for the pit party, the quick pit party?
You know, so we're still working on it. We're hashing it out because there's a lot of creative minds at Tough Mudder. We want it to be a neat experience for the mudders. I've run the last 4 years in one way or another out there, and I was trying to figure out a different way to be a part of it in the full 24 hours and maybe reach more mudders. And so I presented the idea to those guys, and they loved it. And then, you know, I was like, I don't want to be in the base area because Sean and Clinton have the base area on lockdown. Like, they do such a phenomenal job, and having me in the base area playing loud music would just, like, I think water down the Sean and Clinton experience, and it'd be too much. And also, I don't ever want to feel like I'm a burden or annoying somebody because of my crazy music at 3 a.m. when, like, your pit crew is trying to take a 30-second nap. So I was like, I want to be out on course some way or another. So we started discussing it. We're like, well, you know, it'd be cool to have, like, for the first time ever, a way that you can go out and actually bring your athletes, you know, food, water, a hot drink, no gear, but bring your athletes something, and you can hang out if you're, you know, up for it at 3 a.m. You can come out and hang out with me, and we're having a party in the middle of the course. And I think, you know, the experience, because I've run the course, like, I feel phenomenal after leaving the pit area. I got all that great energy from the pit. I got a hug from Sean. You know, it's just awesome. And you go back out on course with that new energy. Like, it's amazing how that works. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, what if you got that halfway through the lap? So now you're doubling up on that neat feeling and that cool experience. And so that's kind of where it all started from. And the other beauty of being away from everyone and being on a 24-hour obstacle course and providing this vibe or this experience is like, you know, it might not always be flowers that I'm playing on the radio. You know, you might get there and be like, Coach, you're freaking me out. You know, it could be a mental challenge to get through that area too. Like, you know, music can be spooky as well. So, I mean, who knows? There could be times that it could get a little dark in the middle of the night. You never know.
How do you keep the energy up for 24 hours? That seems like a long, like.
I don't know. I've never tried it. I have this like a neat thing where, like, I can get energy off of people. And as long as people are there and around me, and giving me positive energy, I can feed off of that energy. It seems to me like as long as there's people there, I can keep going. And I've kind of played with that whole thing at events, you know, doing the start line and doing the emceeing. Like, my goal as a start line MC is to have my 24th start line of the day have an equal amount of energy as my first. And there's no more energy left in my body. I'm fully running off of the awesome energy of the mudders. As they come in and I'm like, you know, like, where are my first time mudders at? And everyone's just, wow, right here. Like, I feel that and I feed off of it. And maybe it's a gift or whatever it might be. So I am fully planning on, you know, giving out plenty of energy to the runners on course and also receiving that energy back.
It was,
and I think I think it'll work. I've never tried it before. And that's also the excitement of this whole thing, right? Like, I wanted to do something new for my own self. And, so I don't know. I'm also nervous. My goal is to make it 24 hours and provide music and entertainment for 24 hours. Just like some people's goal is 25 miles or 50 miles. Like, I also have a goal. Like, I hope I can do it. I think I can. I'm pretty sure. And I've been practicing all year. I've been playing 10-hour sets on Saturdays and 7-hour sets in the village and bringing a lot of energy. So I think I can do it. There'll be a lot of coffee as well.
You were there last year. You saw how cold it got. That's not really short shorts weather. What's your plan for clothes?
Well, I got this sweet new Coach Speedo. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
I've got an amazing velour jumpsuit nowadays, which is incredible. And I'll rock that for a little bit. I'm going to bring a jacket and a hat. I'm planning ahead. I'm going to dress accordingly. It's going to get chilly. It's going to get interesting. Am I nervous? 100%. But, that's part of what we do. We get outside of our comfort zones and we do things that make us nervous. And I'm also excited. When I was a young DJ, I always wanted to play like more of like an artistic show. And not necessarily a dance party, but a show like where you're playing like moods and whatnot. And I think that this is that kind of opportunity to where like I'm kind of can DJ any way I want in any direction I want and make it a little bit more artistic and a little bit less like just like a big high energy ravey dance party. And I think throughout the 24 hours, there'll be times for high energy ravey dance party and there'll be times for some, sweet, reggae music. And then some time for some weird dark sounds and crazy noises in the middle of the night. Who knows? It's a journey and an adventure. And I've been like, since we talked about this, I've been working all my spare time at just like listening and gaining more and more music. I could sit up there and play Old Town Road like 70 times in the 24 hours. But like my plan is to never repeat a song and play this weird 24-hour crazy mix of music that I love. And so I've just been collecting music, and it's a neat opportunity for me to express myself in a different way.
24 hours of music. If you don't ever repeat a song, have you done the math? Like, how many songs is that? No,
I'm not a math guy. I'm just going to keep buying music. Well, it depends on how excited am I. If I'm super fired up, I'll just start mixing tracks faster, because I love DJing. I like to put tracks on top of other tracks and create new sounds. And I like it to be freestyled and never planned and kind of off the seat of my pants and let magic be magic and just happen. And when I'm really excited, I can blow through some music. And if I'm chilling out, which I will definitely have times through the 24 hours where I'm just chilling out and putting a track on and letting that track play out. So I can get about 3 to 4 minutes for a track. Or if I'm like all jacked up, then I'm going to be going through, 3 tracks a minute. So it really depends.
Are you still
4?
Are you doing like physical LP still, or is it all digital? How do you do that?
No, it's all digital. I grew up playing records, and I have all my record collection, most of them. I had to leave some in New Zealand because I got deported, and they would only let me bring one box. So there's still some records in New Zealand that were mine, but when this came up, I made the transition from being a vinyl DJ to digital. So at the beginning of this, or at the end of last year, I bought my first digital mixer, and I retaught myself how to mix, basically, on the new gear. And then all the music I'm playing this year has been bought since I learned about this job. So I just put my head down. I went onto the internet, and back in the day, like we'd go to record stores, and back in the day, I was broke as crap, and I would buy bargain records from the bargain bin because I couldn't afford the good tracks that were out. And nowadays, I can do all of it in my underwear on my couch with my headphones on and just go record shopping. So every night, like, you know, my wife will throw in some Judge Judy and I'll go record shopping. It's awesome.
Kyle McLaughlin also mentioned that there might be a chance to earn golden carabiners or something similar out there for obstacle bypass. Have you heard any talking about that?
Yeah, I have heard a little bit of talk about that. We'll just leave it at that. they're very possibly, I'm going to say that, yeah, there's very possibly an opportunity to earn some golden carabiners, and it's probably going to be in some sort of weird coach way. So plan on that.
Is it possibly dance related, or?
I'll say possibly. There's a lot of possibilities. Sharpen up your dance skills. I know you feel like laying down, but if you want that golden carabiner, no, I'm not saying what it might be. You know, and in fact, like, we're still like having meetings and discussions about it. Like, you know, we're looking at every opportunity and every obstacle right now to deliver the best experience we can. And that's been so important for us this whole year. There's no secret that 2018 was not our greatest show. And 2019, we're looking very closely at every single opportunity to enhance the experience to the people that we love. And so we're still discussing. We do want to do a golden carabiner at the, Coach's Fun House, the Quick Pit. And, we have ideas, and none of them are solidified yet. And I know there's going to be a pretty cool meeting of the minds next weekend in Vegas, which I'm excited about. Some creative people will be there, and I know of a place that sells great gelato and espresso, and most good ideas come after gelato and espresso.
You said Coach's Fun Zone? Is that the official name?
No, there's no official name yet, but like in my own mind, I think of it like a fun house, you know, like that like fun house atmosphere, and you know, that's you know, that like kind of weird, creepy carnival where you're going to show up and there could be some flashing lights and some goofy stuff going on. Expect anything. Be ready for anything in that zone. You never know. Like is it going to be, who knows? Are you going to cruise through and be all nice and chill? Is it going to be an obstacle? And they're going to make you just stand and stare in front of a speaker for 30 seconds? I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities, but what I do know is it's going to be fun. It's like one of the first opportunities it's like a multimedia little zone, right? Like never been done before at a Tough Mudder or at an obstacle race that I know of, having like a live DJ the whole time in the middle of the course. And I'm really excited to be that person and be part of this.
I looked up the Guinness record for longest DJ set. Maybe Coach can set the record.
No, you can't. Dude, listen. They're on performance enhancing drugs. There's no way. I looked at that too. We're not playing the same sport here. I'm on coffee. It's not fair.
240 hours, like 10 days.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Yeah, they did not do it naturally. Where's the drug testing?
Yeah, I don't want you hallucinating by the end of it.
I guarantee I will be hallucinating at the end of it. I mean, a little bit, right? You can run worlds.
You kind of get that way no matter what, right?
I can't wait, dude. It's just such a different experience, and like to be providing something, to be able to like say hi to like when I'm on course, I see people. I love Worlds. Worlds has changed my life in the positive in so many different ways. And now to like do something different with it, I think I'm going to be in connection with more people throughout the night. I'll see people over and over again, which I think is such a cool thing. And I get to provide the vibe, the mood at the time. I just love it. I love the whole concept. And I think, to be honest, we're like, with this whole festival thing, from the base area to World's Toughest Mudder to all this stuff, I think we're scratching the surface on something that could be absolutely incredible. I think that the worlds of like fitness and the worlds of fun and the worlds of partying and, you know, all that are can mold together and coexist. You know, like you don't have to be this square box dude that's doing fitness and you don't have to be this like crazy, you know, party animal that's just like raging all the time. You can party in a fitness atmosphere. And I think that we've kind of been proving that all year. And, I think we're just scratching the surface with what could happen.
Coach, how can people follow you on social media?
Oh, it's pretty easy. You can follow me on Instagram. I do most of my work on Instagram at Coach T Mud. And, yeah, a lot of pictures of my dog, Piper. She's kind of my, like, party person.
You've a lot of skiing pictures also.
Yeah, well, wintertime. You know, I'm a skier. I live in Lake Tahoe, so I'm a big fan of the outdoors and whatever that might bring for that day. So I train in the gym. I'm a CrossFitter, so every morning, 6 a.m., I do my CrossFit class. And then I try to spend the rest of my time outside, whether it's skiing, snowmobiling, snowshoeing, hiking, mountain biking, dirt biking. Like, I don't know. I'm like the king of FOMO. I want to do everything that everybody's doing. Life is too freaking awesome, and there's too many opportunities, and you got to get up early and drink the good coffee to keep you fired up and just crush it.
Coach, do you have any last thoughts on World's Toughest Mudder or the 24-hour DJ party?
You know, I can't tell you how excited I am. I can't wait to get like the whole posse together. It's been such a great community of people, and I hope, you know, my goal is to be a great experience for everybody. I want people to be like, dude, Coach brought it and Coach crushed it, and I'm going to bring as much energy. You know me, and I have a lot of energy, and I can't wait to like bring that and give it to the people on court. Let's have a party.
Coach, thanks much.
Yeah, dude, it's been awesome. Anytime.
Special thanks to Coach Mud, Kyle Railton. Come back anytime. Good luck with your 24-hour pit party. Can't wait to hear how it goes. Don't forget to leave a review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It's your last chance to do it before the end of the year. You want to give me a Christmas present? Leave us a review. You are too kind. You're going to crush it tomorrow. I cannot wait to hear about these stories of success and maybe failure. It's all right. It's going to be cold. It's going to be miserable. You're going to love it and you're going to hate it. And I am so happy for you. Crush it this weekend. You're going to do awesome. I will talk with you next year. Go spend time with someone you love.